thing that's going on. But yeah, I really like this change of coming out for the side of Rise because they saw how they consistently got punished with the op, bro. J. Cruel had their number, and dry peeking into open sidelines on Ascent is going to be no bueno. I would personally have liked to see the Reyna instead of the Phoenix, but I still like the Phoenix nonetheless.
I mean, true, but you can't actually destroy the Phoenix flashes. So there's like no shot that they'll like, die.
But if you're using the Reyna flashes or the Reyna Leers to counteract the op shot, the op shot will either be used immediately to take out the Leer, and that means you can push in and the op has reposition, or if they don't shoot it, they have to look away and reposition anyway. So easy clear of the angles, bro. Big brain.
That is also true. Well, in any case, we're gonna start off this map strong as Rise. They're all postured toward this mid side. Sovadar will not spot anybody out, but there could be a altercation very soon.
We've seen the defensive side from Rise. It was a little bit back and forth because how complexity were, but Rise was ready for the aggression, and Millius 2 goes down. It is just the absolute bloodbath, no matter where they face. And now just two people left from complexity. Let's see how they respond. We've seen Valorant pop out before, and along with the side of it, so the spike is dropped though mid. So they're in a little bit of trouble. Instead, as the gets spotted, wins on the trade nonetheless.
Okay,
making it even. Okay, suddenly things look a lot more doable. But Spike, well now, no, still not picked up at all. There's the goal for the death match. Rise peaks.
Wait.
1v1.
No.
Does he get it? He has to reload. Can he push him?
What?
Oh, Valorant clutches it. No way, bro.
Alright, I feel like I just saw a clip on Twitter that was like 2v4, no bomb, no problem. Happened again. 2v4, no bomb, no problem. As Rise, they had a really good idea to stack a lot of people mid because Complexity, they tried to take that fight. And even though it didn't work out in their favor, in the end, they already got onto B site, took out the person on B, and then moved in to take the rest of the members that were coming in from the top of mid. So they will have that weapon advantage for themselves. Won't actually have a rifle buy. They'll only have that Bulldog as the highest weapon available on their side. It's going to be an early gravity well to make sure that Rise can't actually push out of that A site. But once again, they're going to be looking toward mid.
It's actually the first time I've seen Complexity get the first pistol round as well. So going into the third, they're already changing things up, making it more intense. They're making Rise work for it. We'll see how far they actually get pushed, because as of right now, Rise, this is their bread and butter, right? They play a lot farther back. They play a lot slow, very methodical within their positions instead. They still have the same sort of 3-stack mid. There's absolutely nobody A. But considering where Complexity are poised, once they get around the site, they'll feel a little bit bamboozled, like, yo, why did we take so long to get here?
That definitely is true. Now Rise are rotating some members back over, starting with Poise. The Dark Cover is going to go down at the front of the site, and so the Soap Drone will be able to come in, and that should be the site given over to Complexity. The door looks like it's going to get closed really soon, as the spike will go down, and now we have a 5v5 retake.
We'll see how Rise actually responds to this. We see two coming around for the side for the flank. They got you just spotted up by the turret. Nonetheless, they're giving away their entire plans, the door being closed on them. This is interesting as to what Rise really want to do, but AGM is ready for the response. Switching it over
It's up to AGM.
This round. Yeah, gets 1, 2, and knock one down. He cannot get the third. Unfortunately, see the power of the flashes. But on the other end, they found a Calypso. The spike will click down, and just with the Bulldog and Spectres, he's going to run over with a Cloud. Okay, he's able to get one back. Nicely well done. But Complexity, perfect pistol for the first time.
Yeah, I think that on the side of Complexity, just looking at their team comp, they're going to be looking more toward getting those picks. And then once they get the picks, storm onto a site and then do a post plant. Because as we see, we have a double sentinel setup with the Astra. And then J-Crew, I mean, we know that he really likes that operator. So that coupled with the information coming out from Jonah P, That could be the perfect recipe, but on the side of Rise, it's more of, I want to say like a typical team comp, right? This is what we see a lot with, one flasher, a jet, and then we have the Sova, Omen, and the Cypher. Very typical for the for playing on Ascent. So we'll see if, the more post-plant holy comp or the typical comp wins out in this one, as once again they're going to be actually going up mid. That Sage Wall will block off those defenders. And all right, they're actually not choosing to move toward market. They're moving toward A, and there's only going to be Shanks here. Going to be able to pick up so many. First one.
Okay. Knocks one down, repositions at the back. They can possibly get more. Looking at the side. They're not looking at him. They wait for him to drop instead. Or they get one back. It's 2 for 1. But that's the trade. I'll take any day out of the week. The Raccoon is there. He fishes out the peak and yet again. He'll get one flash left along with the firewall. Spike is planted here. The gravity wall will actually pull them in. The door is jarred. And it's going to be I'm going to need to see a trigger coming off from Bryce to respond to complexity on their end. And this trigger is immediately with one going down. We got onto hell. The J. Crew's just so good. Can he get one more in a 1v1 clip? So we've seen clip before. He spots the shoulder. He peeks up. He knows he can't hold it. He's just waiting for them at the side. This time it's a hold. He gets it to half. They're actually just waiting him. They're gonna wait for him, and he takes him out. Are you kidding me, bro?
Yeah, that definitely was really close. But once again, it's gonna be Jonah P finishing it off. 3 rounds in a row for complexity, and it's looking like a 4th.
I'll be honest, bro. If I'm Rise to go for the defuse, I'm pissed. I'm furious. I'm absolutely irate that Ashley let that happen. Considering he just dies at the end too, bro. He's like teasing him, like, oh look, I'm here.
It's a Cypher, right, against the Sova with that holding utility. It's gonna be really difficult either way. So that was really all he could do there, and he decided not to push because of the time situation, and that's all there was to it. As complexity, they're going to be making their way toward B. This time the Sova drones will spot out each other, but B is still relatively open. Shanks has pushed up mid. It's going to be a little bit scary should they choose to leave that site.
Shanks could actually possibly punish them. Back. They know he's here, but he might actually get caught out. In the lockdown too, they don't manage to detain him either, but still the site is there for at the back with the 2K.
Okay.
The 3K nonetheless, bro. He knocks them down like bowling pins at a 4K with a sheriff. That was disgusting. That was gross. I'm throwing up.
All right. Well, I mean, I think we saw this last game too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
It was the same exact thing, I believe. I think it was also a 4K, and it was also poised. And so they're going to actually give over the defuse to Neptune, who will be able to use that to get the run it back for this next round. Like, even though they have been allowing for complexity to go on the site, that time it actually worked out for them. And maybe they won't let them do it again, because with that run it back, they can get out of the site and get some picks for free, should they choose to use it in the right position.
Considering looking this up right now for both Rise and complexity. Like we know the
it's gonna be out of B.
Right? I mean, if
right back's gonna be out of B. Yeah, but I mean, complexity.
All 5 stack.
They're moving toward A. It's not really gonna find anything, unfortunately. I think they'll at least go out, get some more information before they actually choose to invest that run it back, and so they'll know not to do so. Now on this A side, that will be that early dark cover coming out. J. Crew will not be able to see as the silver drone goes in. Don't believe that actually spots anybody that was on the site, as that's going to be the Cosmic Divide going down to heaven. And Jonah P going to use that Hunter's Fury just to let them go onto the site, but Poise is still there.
Immediately too, as they also put the wall. It was going to cover up hell, but they don't spot a Calypso. Hunter's Fury finally gets one down at the back, and the Spike down as well. Completely in their control, and complexity up playing on the back for this 2v4 though. Although they spend the run it back, they're gonna try to run it back, and on top of him, like you say, he Goomba stomps him, correct?
Yes, I do love that phrase, Goomba stomp, and that was the perfect example of that. That's going to be Rise. Honestly, Calypso staying alive on the A site for such a long period of time, playing around that generator, playing around those sidelines, especially with that Cosmic Divide. I think that shook J. Cruel up a little bit because he didn't make sure to check that right side where Calypso was. So Will get taken down with the knives, and that forces Complexity onto a safe without the jet knife. So this is not looking good for them, as AGM looks like he's going to be picking up a hero rifle. And this is looking toward this B side, but again, it's going to be the operator and run it back to contest with. They could lose this rifle really soon.
So the opposite back to you, Shanks. I can do what Jacob did to him. Really popping at the side. That was such an unfortunate position for the running back.
What?
Can they punish him? The shorty on the other end. He's actually able to get him point blank. Dead for the 3K. One more coming up. Barrel down. Shoots him. Has to switch. Waste the ones out of bullets. No. I switched to the pistol. Now making it 2v1. Those spikes not in their favor though. But he spots a member at the back. He has the Phantom in his back pocket. Wins the trade too. Up against Calypso. That's really well done. Not poised. He's quite high up. He should be able to spot him peeking in. But considering, looking a little bit back and forth. Spike. Get picked up by Jonah P. Wall goes down. He's ready for him and takes him down.
Alright, and Complexity picking up the first 3 rounds. Rise is going to answer in quick succession with the next 3. And it was looking really good for Complexity because they came in, was able to destroy that, run it back, destroy Neptune, but then weren't able to push that advantage. And so they're still going to be able to buy up for this round, and that operator is going to be in the hands of Shanks. And if Shanks goes down and that operator goes to J. Cruel, what do you think is going to happen, Ravish?
I mean, I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. I think that Jacob's going to pick it up too, and then he's going to put out some sick quick flicks we saw before, because you know my man can quick scope. He was clearly a COD master. But that's going to continue on forward. That's definitely a trade we do not want to see happen. And Jonah B takes down Shanks. That's up, down, though. But the question is, can they recover it? It would be a dangerous mission, but one very worthwhile.
Do they want to, though?
I mean, Calypso's rotating over. They should be able to spot him out if he does, though. At the back, but Poise catches one more. And it's just a mid-control slot in their favor. As he coming around the back, immediately Derek knows he might be a little bit overwhelmed. And Calypso went out back into spawn. He gets the spike. That's so big too. He's not able to get it onto the site. But can they clear out everybody else? Complexity playing on the back foot. When the peek out from Poison the next. Poise though. There's one more in front of him, but instead Calypso choosing the back.
Rise look like they're really good at using the angles onto site to give them cover and then peek out at the exact right time to take out Complexity, because we just saw, again, that dance of death. I don't know how to say it in the way that you said it, but can you say it for me? La Valle de las Muertas. All right, there we go. I'm not going to attempt to say that because I don't really know Spanish, but in any case, that's what happened on that B site, which will push Complexity onto a kind of scuffed buy there. It seems like Jonah P for the next round will not be able to buy up if they lose that rifle. The Shanks will look toward this one-way at A, but Complexity are not going to bite. They're pushing up mid again. And honestly, it hasn't worked for them for the past 4 rounds.
But consider now they're going with almost pretty much a 4-stack at the back. They do manage to smoke out both Pizza and back near defenders spawn. They use the hour draw. Nobody see covering trees, but they do not see Neptune there. But Neptune likely knows that this could be the push in. Smoke to the back with the gravity will could possibly punish them as well, as they look to pick down the pushes and shut it down. And nice flick at the back, flash in as well. He gets down all of them. And a 2K for him, make that a 3K. The fire will go out, so won't burn them alive as yet. But Calypso at the back will punish their position, shoot them in the back yet again. And Valorant with only the classic out will give Neptune that 4K.
I mean, I think I saw this earlier today, that it was going to be the flash inside of Garden, and then everybody dies. I believe it was on Plix earlier today, actually, now that I think about it. A little bit of deja vu. But that's going to be another round going over to Rise. Shanks still has the operator in his possession, has not gone over to J. Cruel. Complexity, mid has not been working out for them, and now they're going to be trying to go toward B. But this is where Shanks is now holding with that operator. Decided to move over from A to B, but that's the early gravity well. And Complexity, they're not going to choose to punish it. They're still going to dry peek. And even though they do tack up Shanks a little bit, that will not put him down, as that's going to be the Killjoy lockdown coming back up. And oh, that is not in the same position, so it will not be taken down by those shock darts.
Good luck. It was a good attempt at the back though, but it's a little bit off kilter. We're not, like you mentioned, we won't punish it, but allow that he's getting onto the site. So trying to punch the position at the back. Because they still have the on the other end, but Neptune comes in from market. He gets stoned one. Now suddenly it's a 4v3. For the retake, 2 Spike will take down. Good res as well by Ohio, but can he punish this? Real question. As all holding back in the Broadhouse red. After was 3K, can he get top 4? Can shut down Valorant! Lines them up and saves the round.
All right, well, you said Valen, but don't forget AGM, right? AGM was coming in from mid, was able to pick off those 2 members of Rise that were just not looking. I don't think they expected for anyone to be all the way back, and not the Killjoy, right? Because I feel like we've seen the Killjoy just play on site with the turret, with that utility, and that was definitely something that was not expected. So 1 round going over to Complexity, and look who has the operator.
Yet again, they flip it on over here, and this is where I find things might potentially turn on their tail here, Kura. But one thing that is to be noted, that this is a very similar scoreline that we saw in the previous half as well. Both between Rise and Complexity, although Complexity had the early control, I believe it ended at around a 5-7, but it's looking even closer. And Rise is an attacking team, so.
That definitely is true, and Rise know that Jaker will probably peek cat with that operator, so they have not placed anyone there. They're holding further back onto sites and making sure that they don't take those long sight lines. And so Complexity, with that team comp of trying to get those picks, it has not been happening.
The running back is still available, which I believe has not been used as of yet. Just peeked out, be able to get a little more information, but as of right now, Rise could use in response his Complexity slowly inched their way over onto B. The tripwire would likely give away a lot of the information. Let them know what's going on. The market push comes in, Derek gets knocked out at the back. The Trinity peeks in, nobody punishes him either. But Derek gets pulled down Boathouse, though no, he cannot. Unfortunately, because AGM is just too sick with it. But Nectar coming at the back for the response. Still very doable here for Rise. They're 4v3. The running back is just not used as well. Gravity well. I'm gonna stop down Neptune, but Poison gets down the up. That could be big. As they're waiting for him to TP up, and AGM pops off again.
Yeah, that Sage Roll has been used for the past 2 rounds now, just to cut off the sightlines from market. And honestly, it is for Calypso, because we see that Cypher Trip that is more at the front of the site, that one way that goes down, and they can't take advantage of that because the Sage Wall is already there. So nice use there. I'll definitely use that in my next game. On Complexity, they're like, all right, B has been working pretty well, and we don't really go up mid. We'll just use the mid as a lurk. But, oh no. Are they pushing to go up mid again? Not like this. Not like this.
Not like this, no. I should see some probably early smokes come out too, so they can possibly just moving through down into trees. But good dart at the back. Spots out 3 as well. So now it'll be out to Complexity. See how they want to possibly spot to this. Obviously at the back as well. Just gets to the positions. You know exactly where they were. These shots will connect. I believe only 1 will hit so far. So Complexity response.
I mean, they're going to respond with Jake Roll picking up poise on the operator. So none of those Omen shenanigans or Omen TPs will happen, as that was just down mid. Could pick up another one, and he will with a headshot onto Callisto. So now Rise on the back foot, and Complexity seem to have found their stride, getting those picks that we wanted to see them get. As Shanks with that operator will look down mid a little bit, but I think they'll be able to spot out Jake Roll here. They are not peeking again. So the rest of Complexity moving toward A, and this should be a plant for them.
They say you get completely open too, and the smoke at the back that you would close the door. And this is an easy post plant for them as of right now. But now, how does Complexity now? How does Rise respond? You can watch it at the back for any flankers, and it's just a flawless.
And Complexity gonna bring this to 6-5, and if it's any indication, could be 7-5 for that deja vu moment, as we've been having many today. Rise, they're not gonna be able to fully buy. They have a Judge onto Shanks and an Ares onto Derek. Not the Odin. Okay, it will be the Spectre instead, it seems like. As all right, I'm not gonna speculate until they buy fully. All right, there we go.
No.
It's gonna be Spectre. It's not the Ares. Unfortunate, as we usually see that on the B's site. No Odins coming out from the side of Rise though, which is a little bit unexpected. I feel like I always see at least one on the defense. But it seems like Rise, they put a lot more members toward mid. They have 3 in mid proper and then 1 sitting on Cat. As that's the Cosmic Divide going down for Complexity. It's going to be up to Callisto to stop this push.
It's one of them all that has so far. There's buffering every all sides. We know to hear the gunshots are there, but watches Shanks right now respond. He's waiting for his boss. Eddie misstep. As Aldrin goes out, should be able to spot at least 2 of them going down to B main. I imagine Complexity take this chance to actually just rotate out, and yes, they do. Right, but there's a camera mid as well. They could possibly spot out the rotate so far, but J. Crew's sticking around with his operator to possibly catch out one more. He sees it nice, goes out a little bit clear, so slowly peeking in, and nice!
Oh. Yeah, now that's going to spot out the rotate of Complexity, and they're hightailing it over to that A site. They're still going to be met with opposition, however, as we have the Phoenix and the Omen still there.
Considering now, we've known that Rise are very prone to giving up A site consistently, but considering they have a little backup here, after at the back, if he knows where the lockdown is too, if he could possibly catch them out, this could be actually really big for Rise, making it a 6-6 half, but he has to try to escape and barely gets out. Couple seconds remaining, but AGM instead comes on in, absolutely rains down onto all of Rise though. But how did they respond is a real question. Through the back of the firewall, a little more coverage. That's not done as of yet, but they spot them all coming down from heaven, and it's easy cleared up 7-5. Deja vu here.
Yeah, definitely is. And now Complexity gonna be on the defense. I feel I said this the last map, right? I said Complexity's team comp is more suited for the defense. And once again, that will be the case. And because they picked up 7 rounds on the attack, I think they're in a really good position to just close out this game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, looking at it right now, but yet again, as before, for Rise, it'll come down to those 2 pistol rounds. We've seen them respond to them before, but Complexity has been looking absolutely phenomenal in this current round. I find they really found their stride after the insane clutch from Split, though. I think Rise had to shake this off a little bit, but I'm not too worried. This attacking round will decide so much here. Round of 16, the fight for survival begins yet again.
I mean, again, it's going to be Complexity with those ghosts, looking for the long-range duels and the long-range picks. That's an early stage while going down on Cat, making sure that Rise can't push in. So that stops a push completely, as they're now meandering around mid, seeing what they can get. They've already broken that sage wall, so they have to be a little bit careful. There's no members of Complexity peeking out. And Silver Druid will not spot anybody, but the Killjoy turret will. And now they know that they're still going over to this A side.
Consider the gravity will at the back to start through pushing it immediately. There's 2 down into trees, and so taking these kind of aggressive peaks at the back might be a little bit detrimental. And yes, it is. All it makes it 2 for 1. The high with the 3K by the end of it. Rise just gets caught meandering.
Alright, so the A side Cat push is clearly not working out for anybody today. So let's everybody stop doing that. And tomorrow everybody stop doing that too, because every single time it just has been shut down, no matter what team is on the defense and what team is on the offense. And that's going to be Complexity picking up the pistol round, which is important for them in extending their lead, because it could be a 9-5 J-Cruel. With that ghost still, should be saving up for that operator. They're going to be staying mid and looking to see if Rise actually have any more presence there. Early dog cover should not allow him to get that peak that he wanted, especially since there are no flashes on the side of Complexity. Not even Paranoia this time. But oh no, it's Cat again. Let's not go Cat, everybody.
I think they might have actually read this push. Might have seen a shoulder or an elbow or something. J. Cruel gets down poised. He wasn't looking all the way at the top. Which in the high ground can be OP, but why not Neptune? They get that one more. He is outgunned and outmanned. Unfortunately, but he will not die as if they look at close the door, but somehow especially when you get one. So we know he's clean with the flicks. But how many shots does he hit? Chance gets 2. So let's kind of try to get more. Can he get 3? Do I see 3? Do maybe he get 3? Not as of yet. But Spike goes down 2-2.
Oh.
between these two teams.
Okay, it's going to be Rise actually picking it up with the Sheriffs and getting some guns for themselves. This is not an open and shut case, Ravish.
No, unfortunately not. Well, actually, fortunately not, I should say, because that makes things a lot more interesting than right there at the end, right? Rise all the way at the back, you're able to pick things up a little bit, still down a 2-round deficit, but this does mean the complexity has to go in on a save now, so Rise could possibly make this a 1-round game, Kurt.
That definitely is true. Complexity using the same strategy as Rise again, right? Putting a lot more members mid and then using a peek onto B with that turret, and they're just gonna get punished for that. AGM taken down.
Out of the open for a bit too far. Trade for trade with the back Valorant. At least takes down Shanks. So main frag coming out for it. Rise gonna be gone, but can they spawn with more fortitudes between these two? Rise, they're gonna be on their back foot.
We've definitely seen the 4v2 happen before, at least twice before. So it could definitely happen again, but this Marshall is gonna have its work cut out for himself, as it's not going to happen. Oh hi, on that Sheriff. Looking to at least get some guns off the side of Rise. We'll pick up that Marshall, but in doing so, we'll get taken down by Calypso. That is 7 to 8, and as you said, they are closing the gap this round though. With the ultimates, they have the Blade Storm, and they also have that Neuro Theft, and I feel like the Neuro Theft has been pretty effective in cutting off any of the rotates that's been coming out on the opposite team.
But yeah, again, it's all about those picks, right? If you can find the body, as Cypher says, you know, give me a corpse. This is what you want.
Give me a corpse.
Exactly. You got it. There you go. Right. Even to read away all the positions we saw how affected that wasn't split. But can they carry it over to this one? AGM caught it again a little bit far forward. And J. Cruel doing what he does best. Taking down the members of Rise immediately with an op pick. Shot it down in a second as well, bro. You can't keep doing that. Did he get a third? That was a third. That was so nasty. I can't do this anymore, but y'all gotta understand that you can't keep peeking this dude with no flashes, no smokes. He has to be shut down because he's just too nasty with it. He's just so sick, though. But now they might try to overrun him, but the back flash comes in. It's still point blank. He gets the knife. Flex into the wall to do some material design, and unfortunately that will be his due. Was that 2 to 2? Those separate kinds of corpse. At the back, the shot of coming in. Eclipse is ready, waiting. 1v1. Valen clutches it again.
Alright, and that's going to be the investment coming out from Rise with that Hunter's Fury. Not going to pan out for them, though, as they got onto the site but could not hold it off. A little bit of BM there by Valen. Just to finish it off, we'll pick up the operator once again for J. Cruel. And as you said, even though there are flashes coming out of Neptune, you can't stop J. Cruel.
He just exerts so much pressure. His name is just gravitas onto the map. When children hear them at night, they get scared. Like, yo, you know, go to sleep and then don't try to peek because J. Cruel might not peek.
All right, I'm a little bit concerned if you're having those dreams when you're a child, but in any case, it's going to be Rise at least being able to buy up for this round. They don't really have too many ultimates to work with except for Shanks, so he's going to have to come up huge here if Rise want a chance to finish off this round, because Complexity, they do have that Resurrection in the Sage. The Sage will be playing at mid, and Rise have not really been putting any pressure there as of yet, so should still be able to stay relatively safe. Cosmic Divide, though, it's also on the side of Complexity. We've mostly seen it on the retake situation, so I don't believe we'll see an early one just to cut off Rise from coming in onto the site. That's going to be the Silver Drone, catching out J. Cruel very early, pushing him off this cap position. That should allow for Rise at least to get a little bit more purchase onto a main. But Rise, they're rotating those two members over, and it's actually looking like an A hit now.
Pay attention to those two Astros as well, right at the entrance of A. They could easily both be a gravity well and a concuss layer on top of another. And that could actually set up Complexity to mow all of Rise down one after one. So if they don't concentrate with the position, instead, yes, you use the smoke for the cover, and the gravity will put out at the back and Valorant ready for the spots. They're out of the entrance so far, but it's a really good trade so far for Rise as they managed to make their way onto the site. The question is to occur. Can they hold it down to find out? Oh, high at the back, so no rest coming in, and suddenly turns into a 2v3. But J. Cool, we know how good is with the op, but if you can't find any set lines, it won't necessarily matter though. If you can respond and know he gets taken down, there's just J. Cool left, it'll go for the save.
Yeah, for sure. I think the right call is to go for the save here, as it will just be 9-8. And Rise doesn't really look like they're going to hunt him down necessarily, because they don't want to lose too many weapons since the game is so close, right? If you do end up losing those weapons, it could come to bite you later on. But Calypso going on a bit of a solo mission. It's going to be J-Crow backing off all the way into the back of site. And the last time we saw him at the back of site, it was quite a scene of carnage. I don't think they're really going to want to push that, even though they are just coming over a little bit just to make sure to check those angles for him. And there we go. We'll have that operator safe to this round, but the rest of the team cannot buy. We've definitely seen miracles happen with the Sheriffs, and another one is going to have to happen if they want to bring it to a 10-8 instead of the 9-9. As a reminder, Resurrection is still up, so if J-Crow gets dropped early, they could bring him straight back.
Also do want to pay attention to the Jonah P is also one way for the Heartless Fury, so that could also easily be used to stop any play in pre or post plan as well. If you manage to get the altar, considering he's playing A, I'd like to possibly peek out through a nice shotgun at the other end, but since there are actual audio clues to note that it landed, it's going to easily be punished. So Shank's waiting for any push out to happen, but the Owl drone will likely give him away.
Yeah, but now Complexity, they've routed a lot of members toward this A site because of the noise. Rise, though, are not going to be going toward B, so they're going to be hitting a lot more members than they bargained for.
But I'm quite good at bargaining, though, I have to say. I find it's in my blood, but I know I'm not sure how these guys are haggling between these two teams. Been like, yo, well, hold on. I'll take 2 members. You take 1, though. Maybe we can do a 4v4 right now. But between these two, it's a cross the rotate instead. This could also allow Jonah P to possibly get the altar up too, if he's able to see that they've all gone out as they inch their way towards mid. But yet again, bro, J. Cool with that op could exactly what they need to shut them down, as they might look to push again through trees.
They could be going down mid proper, and that's going to be J. Crow going down, looking at the wrong direction at the wrong time. Stop should get picked up and not traded back, as AGM, though, on the other side, picks up 1, makes it into a 4v3 situation, but it's just looking real bad for Complexity as the members just still fall from Calypso. Hanging back, Valen, last member left standing, will just peek straight into Shanks, and Rise have brought it to a 9-9.
And that's the biggest thing, right? As soon as you got down J. Crew, as soon as the op was down, immediately so much space given over to Rise to come back in, move through market. And I liked the falling back into what they were doing before. We saw it in bind, and we saw it in split too. On the attack, where they know they're on the back foot, they slow things down a bit. The pace of the game gets a lot more methodical and a lot more complex, I'd say. Much more of the actions are well thought out.
Revealing area.
So it's even, yet again, anybody's game.
That definitely is true. They do have, I mean, on both sides, they have stuff to work with, right, Derek? We'll pick up 1 more ultimate orb to get closer to the Hunter's Sphere. Not going to be charged as of yet, though. J. Cruel sitting on one side of this Cypher tripwire. I'll have to be a little bit careful of pushing out. As Rise could look to go mid. He's going to have to come up huge here.
1 barrel of his gun immediately peeks out, repositions, actually able to get out. That's huge for him. They weren't able to nail him down throughout the entire smokes. Man, that was clean. Actually just gets a nice little drive-by for him, but although they now know there's at least 3 people coming down in onto mid, but it's a 4 full stack. How does Rise respond to this? They could try to push to the advantage here, go at the back, but they could be punished back through spawn, or they could move them through market, but they know there's reinforcements there. I would like them to actually move back through trees, once again onto A, but Ohio is looking. He's waiting. Right at the back, nice smokes though. Not able to punish him. There's just 30 seconds left within the round.
That's going to be the quick from the shadows and the quick cancel from AGM, who is still on that site.
Looks at the back though. But now that is a lot of information,
Oh!
and the Hunter's Fury in the barrel of their guns lines them up. Really complex with the quick response. They know exactly where they're almost the entire time, and in our eyes, they were stuck in such a precarious position, and so much that starts with J. Cruel catching them out with. If he sets that first pick, it's all snowballs from there, man. So well done.
Yeah, I mean, the Hunter's Fury and AGM sitting in the corner. It was really good that he was still on that site because if the only TP'd there and got the free plant, it would have gotten so much harder for Complexity to retake. And so Complexity now 10-9. This second half has been going back and forth. That's going to be pretty expensive, so they are all right, the money is not struggling as much as I thought it would, but it still is slightly struggling. They do have that Killjoy lockdown now, and the Cosmic Divide still that has not been put down for quite a while because they haven't really needed to do too much of a retake.
I think the thing could be is that Derek also won away from the Hunter's Fury, considering looking towards A though, so no alt or fights so far, but if they were able to possibly take it B, considering how little reinforcements they are, that could be what they need to respond or open onto the site or stop any post plants. Possibly happen at AGN. We know how far he likes to push up. He's been punished for it before. Considering no one's out of B main, this is quite good. He puts some initial pot shots down, but I was behind that box here, my brother. They're all towards A.
I mean, Complexity, they really can stop Rise from going in anywhere, right? We have an Astro Star sitting at the front of each site. We have the alarm bot mid, which actually will get taken back. So mid is completely open. Rise, they definitely do not know this. It's 4 members at A. 53 seconds remaining. Seems like they're going to be looking for information. The sage wall will go up at the front of site. And it looks like it's going to get peppered down. So more members of Complexity are coming over. Rise has gone onto the site, but they haven't picked off anybody yet.
Not yet. Looks like a 5v5 retake so far. Good paranoia at the back to trees about something for coming in, but now we'll see the retake in the final second. Jonah P gets one though as so we are to the site. We're looking where all of Rise are holding. There comes a lockdown at the back.
Wow.
Oh, high going down. This could be big though. Shanks looking, searching, gets the 2K, but he carried the lockdown. That's 3! Oh, but Adrian finally shuts him down, and the lockdown will live for just a little while longer. He gets detained. This is so bad. They just go for the defuse. Calypso there, peeking in, trying to defend it with his life. He's so low.
Oh.
And Neptune from the skies with a right click to save the round.
Yeah, unfortunately, even though the lockdown did go down and we had that member detained, I think that Complexity should have pushed that member there. Because when you have 8 seconds, and unless you get on the spike immediately, you're going to have 2 members to deal with. You know that one's in main, the other one got detained and is probably behind you. So that is not going to work out in their favor as Complexity. They're not going to be able to full buy for this round. This should push Rise to 11, especially since they have 4 ultimates up. The Hunter's Fury that run it back, the Neuro Theft for information, and that Blade Storm. So many, and it is going to be a tactical pause for Rise. They want to make sure that they can take full advantage of those ultimates just to push them to that 12 mark.
I want to see the ults actually peppered out from Rise, though, considering how close these rounds have been. We've seen Rise kind of overcommit onto a singular site and they get immediately punished for it. But considering they're on the save, we know Complexity is quite nice with the flakes as well. So just a couple of things I want to see happen, right? I'm assuming Shanks will likely just use the knives right at the beginning. But I want to see us as well. Neptune uses ultimate to get onto the side to be able to clear that out, and then Shanks to the back for the reinforcements. And that's the only 2 ults I want to see used in this round here. Because we things out, use their duelists, and the rest use for other response if Rise wants to live in the game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we don't want to see too much investment going into kind of like a partial force strange buy, as I like to call it. Bizarre buy. I know I've definitely had a lot of words for what kind of buy that this is. It's going to be a slow orb going down outside of A. They will not be taking that orb because, again, 4 ultimates up. They don't really need it at this point.
They could probably use it for the bait. If anything, they decided, hey,
Well,
you know,
true.
maybe, yeah, I mean, decided just pull a little bit more out. Maybe catch the picks at
Oh,
the
oh,
back.
oh, oh,
Peeks
oh.
and Jonah P down immediately. Does he catch the second? They hear the also going down too. So they're the ones getting baited instead at the back, peek in down, and they drop like flies here, Kura, right inside a spider's nest. And right now, as Complexity spread their legs, Rise spread their legs on top of Complexity, how will they respond? They seem a little bit stuck. Two people there, shots at the back. Nice flick. Neptune cleans it up and a flawless Rise.
I mean, they didn't even have to use any ultimates there, right? You said you wanted to see only 2 ultimates used. I said that I wanted to see as little used as possible, so 0 is the least, right? I mean, they technically could have like gained the ult on Poise, and then it would have been -1. So that technically could have been the least, but all technicalities aside, J. Cruel will be able to go back on the operator. And Complexity, this round is crucial for them. They need to win, and they just don't have that much to work with. They're not really pushing out to get control of these orbs to get the ultimates that they have, especially since the lockdown is 5 out of 7. Initial shot will not hit on J. Cruel, and they have to back off because that hot hands will hurt a lot. Okay, 1, 2, 1. Gonna second guess himself and go back onto that A site, but Rise, they're moving their way toward B. There's an Astra Star at the front and a lot of Killjoy utility. If they can get through that, as they still have been, will not be good for Complexity.
Triggers engaged at the back as well, but look at this. It's a really nice wall to gravity well to make sure that Phoenix can all automate the way out the site and find a ton of information. And the running back will likely put out to AGM at the back. Unfortunately, Crosshair's a little bit off to Shanks, kind of DK him out, breaking his ankles at the end. A spike goes down in a 4v5 between these two teams. They do still have the divide at the back, and the hot fear used from Derek as well. Cassidy coming up from the spawn, he gets one tag from what I saw, but now Jonah P can come into it, still have the op in their hand. Can J. Cool as well be the savior of this round? Jonah P gets one immediately. Neptune, one of the main frag has already got concussed at the back. The guy as well is on top of the boxes, but there's just too much firepower. Rise. Match point.
Yeah, even though the Astra utility came in, did concuss a member at the back of site, Complexity still not able to go on. And so for the last round of, could be the last round of this game, they're going to be going on those light shields now. They have the light shields, they have the Vandals, and only a Bulldog coming out from AGM. I know that's my favorite gun, but a Bulldog against rifles is going to be a little bit difficult. Rise don't have that operator. But again, they really haven't been using any ults, right? They've used that run it back and they used that Hunter's Fury. And that's about it. They still have 3 to work on the other side. Cosmic Divide, I need to see it go down this round. We need to see everything come out. I want to see the Hunter's Fury. I want to see the Blade Storm. I want to see J. Cruel being a little more aggressive, honestly. Because we've definitely seen that Blade Storm be really good, at least on Bind, right? Wasn't that where Shanks got that ace?
Mm-hmm, it was.
So let's see it happen again. I want to see it happen again. I guess Complexity needs it to happen again. On their side, though. Not on the other side.
I believe we're also
just in case that wasn't clear.
Exactly, yeah. And now Complexity coming out with this tech pause for themselves, too. They also need to be able to figure out what they need to do going into the next 2 rounds. We've seen them in this position before. But we also have to be able to bring it back to his next 2 rounds will decide everything. And I think the way we're looking at it, J. Cruel right now, unfortunately, does not have the up either. Complexity on a very broken buy. Their economy is not looking too hot. And we've seen J. Cruel has been a savant in so many of these rounds, applying so special like we've seen before, shutting down Rise at every which way in turn, kind of leaving them with the chicken with running it out with his head off, just confused like, yo, what do I do here though, fam? But Complexity playing a little bit of the back foot. They have 3 ults on their end. 3 ults to match for Rise too. So, Kurt, I pose you this question. Who is going to go down first? Who gets picked off first?
Who gets picked off first? Jonah P. That's going to be my pick. Who's your pick?
You know what, bro? I don't know. In fact, because we're actually heading down back into the round. So
Wait, that's not fair!
Don't matter. Like,
call him out, chat. Call him out.
This is all news right now. What's gonna matter is that Jonah P looking at the back, right? It's although Recon Dart immediately got replaced, so yes, there's some opposition there, but All of Rise are 5 stacked, just waiting for a trigger. To luckily just fast push in or sneaking, as they say.
Yeah, but because of that updraft, Jonah P will actually back off from the aggressive position he was holding at A. Rise. They're not actually going to take any additional ground because of that. The spike still sitting far back onto Cat. Not making its way toward mid, not making its way toward A, but that's going to be the Hunter's Fury coming out. Will it be able to get a pick? Ooh, it does not. Only tags up the legs of Shanks.
Still, though, you used very, very early on, though, and then with that massive resources already going down, it'll depend on the complexity you want to respond, right? They're playing very far back, and Rise knows this too, that it'll be very detrimental for them as well. But whoa! J. Cruel's naturally gets pulled in his own firewall, gets immediately picked off, but almost all of Rice going on his other side instead. So we're able to get in with almost no opposition, but Owen gets picked off too as healer down. Call at the back. Spike will go down as well to Mechanicus respond. We position him right down your market. You know he saw 2 there. At the back. Ooh, the clean shot on J. Cruel. That's Knives down 2. How a complex respond. They're fighting for survival. It's round of 16 for Knight's tourney, though. If they win this, they make it through. One more round. Possibly what they need, but Rice set up for possible success. They can cement themselves a fantastic squad. They go back and forth 1v1, and that'll be it. Calypso